Hey everyone, I'm Mark. This is Gonzo. Today we're talking about what to do when the players ruin everything.
They don't really ruin everything, but you know how it goes. You're playing the game. You have decisions that the players are making, and excuse us, cats are jumping around. But as usual, things don't go the way you planned. As a dungeon master, you spend so much time making plans, creating adventures, creating pathways and story hooks, those kind of things for them, NPCs and town names and bar names. And all of a sudden, one match or one fireball spell, everything's burned down. Always. They went the wrong way. They didn't follow your hook. And we want to talk about what's the best way to get your players back on track. What are some things that you can do to bring them back? So what's one of the examples that happens often at our table?
So you had this NPC that was supposed to give them this thing or this bit of information, and they killed him.
Yeah.
They just, for whatever reason, they got into it with him, or they didn't engage with him, or maybe they got in a battle. It wasn't with them, but in the battle they let the NPC die. Whatever the situation is, but you're like, man, that NPC had valuable information for them. What do we do?
Yeah.
How do we fix that?
Well, so you have to, as a dungeon master, we've talked about this many times, and it's key every time. You have to be adaptable, and you have to find a way to take that information that you wanted to get to them and give it to them in a different manner. So we've said before, maybe on the body they find notes or something stuffed in his pocket that he was supposed to give to you, or maybe one of your clerics or paladins receives a boon or some information in a form of a dream from their deity, and that information is what's going to lead them to where you'd like to see them go. There's different ways you can do it as a dungeon master, but the key important part is to not panic, to let it happen, and figure out a different way for that information to get to those players. And you can be creative when it comes to that, for sure.
Right. So another problem is you planned a dungeon out, and they're supposed to go into this wonderfully laid out room that you had, and they don't go in that room. They go in the other room.
Yeah.
In fact, looks like the way they're going, they're not even going to go into that room.
Yeah.
So
disregarding.
Shoot, I had important stuff in there. They're supposed to have they're going to have this great encounter. What's the easy way to solve that one, Gonzo?
Yeah, they go into the room, and again, they took the vase that had the magical ring in there that would unlock the door at the end, and they threw it in the well because they were afraid it was cursed because you've hit them with mimics and everything else. So whatever's going to happen, your players will definitely do things different than what you expect.
Yes.
Again, it's that transferring of information. Okay, I need them to find that ring. They obviously threw it in the well, so I'm going to put it behind a tapestry because they usually search the room and look for magical places or, hidden walls, that kind of thing. So you're going to move that item or move that information.
Or move the room.
If they went the wrong way in the dungeon or in the cave and they're not going to go the other way, they don't know. As players, you don't. And when I'm playing, I don't know what's behind the door.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter. As a dungeon master, you can just simply say what was behind door A is behind door B because that becomes door A. It's actually really easy, but it does take a little bit of practice and understanding that there's no wrong way to go about getting that information, that important item, that quest item in their hand.
Gonzo, I have this big bad evil guy. I've worked him up. He's so bad and evil and so tough, and I know that that's gonna have all kinds of problems with this.
You're gonna knock them down.
And they come in and they just start wading in. Oh my gosh! Before I know it, my big bad evil guy is down really low in hit points. They've got him down to like 25% left. He's like, oh my gosh. They're just wading right through them. How do I fix that?
Yeah, so that happens actually quite often. We all know the creature rating in the monster manual is not up to par.
It blows.
And we all know, again, expect the unexpected. Players are going to have so many things that they may have on them that's going to take your big guy and just knock him back, that you have to be ready to adjust even the encounter in that. And one of the easiest ways is to have the guy or the girl the ability to summon something, more bad guys, bring in the cavalry. She takes her staff and stamps it on the ground, and all of a sudden these holes open up and goblins come pouring out. Easy minions that she can send in front of her to give her a reason to heal or some other ability, and give her a break and allow her to use her abilities in a different way. And meanwhile, your party's dealing with multitudes of minions and bad guys. So summoning monsters out of nowhere, bad guys out of nowhere, that can always help.
Lair actions. It doesn't have to be just for dragons. You could, if you get them in their lair, they
grab a horn off their belt and and here comes a rock troll. They have a cave troll. So
look at that.
Yeah, whatever. So again, it's a way to adjust your game And so that the players feel like it's becoming more epic as they're struggling to fight this bad guy that they've been chasing over and over. So they may have to go through some waves of minions before they get to them, but eventually they can finish it. And it'll seem more epic as they don't just take one round and knock this person out.
What about this great hook? I advertised for them. There's this thing over there. There's a hag that is stealing all the children, and you should go take care of that. Would you, if for a fee, the mayor comes to them and says, "Hey, well, I'll pay you 100 gold to solve the issue of this hag. They keep stealing the children in the town," and then the party's like, "Nah, we're gonna go do this."
Speaking of hooks, don't forget to subscribe to Dungeon Class, where we talk about fun things that you can do at your table. And we hope that you can share your ideas with us as well in the comments below on some of the ways that you can get players to kind of go the way that they should or the way you'd like to do. That's a great one, the hag, or the story hook that doesn't hook them. It's like when you're fishing, right? You've got the best bait on there.
Yeah.
The fish aren't biting. They ate all night. They're just a full moon, whatever. They're just not biting.
Right.
The easiest way I've found is if you can change the hook or let things happen the way they're happening at the table, come back to it later, and maybe change it up so it's and change it up so that it involves the player's background or even their class. So, if you have a rogue in the group, maybe there's the rogues guild that the rogues involved in has got an issue with this original hook that you had, and now it's personal, or even more personal, maybe one of the family members of the players or something like that is now captured by this hag.
Yeah.
You have a druid or a ranger in the group, then you want to go ahead and go after animals. Well, not only is she cooking up kids, but she's cooking up animals in the wrong way or experimenting, and tug at their heartstrings. So make it personal to the players, and they're going to jump on it. If they don't really care, it's because they're not engaged with it. And that's okay. As a dungeon master, you may have to come up with a whole new hook.
Right.
And do something different. So don't be afraid to abandon ship and go a different route.
Yeah, so these are some of the problems that we find, that DMs find all the time. Hopefully these solutions help you and give you some ideas of how you fix them, because this stuff does happen. It happens all the time. It happens to us. It will probably happen next time you play. All 4 of these things will probably happen.
Yeah, usually
we
have
to adapt. Yeah, so it's all part of the deal of being a DM, but you can do it. You just kind of have to roll with the punches and don't panic and don't freak out and never let them see you sweat. That's another key. All right, that's all we have for today. And with that,
class dismissed.